I just thought, it would be nice to at least like have a little chit chat. You get to know me, but then also like get to know what I'm doing in this space. So someone reached out to me and asked me a question. What inspired you to start your business? So I thought, oh no, it would be really cool to actually talk about that as well on here. So um, I have my iPad just so that I don't ramble too much. My blanket here just to give it like a very cozy, very relaxed, chit chats. Like I'm at home, a very relaxed feel. But yeah, but let's get into this. So, what inspired me to start my business? The simple answer would be I got to a point where I just felt like there was more for me. That would be if I was to answer this in one sentence. It would be like I got to a point whereby I felt like there was more for me than where I was. Now to backdate like how I got to that point. When I first finished from school, I, I got a job. I got a job actually at a law firm. Yeah, I got a job at a law firm, and I was so happy. Like I was so happy that I had gotten this job because one of my prayers that year was like, oh, I'm finishing school and I do not want to have to like wait another year before I get a job, because that was very common. A lot of people were experiencing that, like peers or friends that I had would finish school and they would have to wait like months before they get a job. So it was really a big prayer of mine that I would finish and I wouldn't have to wait that long. And I'm an immigrant, so I can't just say, oh, it's not a problem. Like I have to think about like, oh, switching to work permit, or then my work permit times out, then you want to move up. So all of these things, like, which is very common among a lot of us that like came here for school. So I was very worried. And before my last before I graduated, before my graduation, I started applying for jobs. I had the whole summer off. I was applying, and nothing yet. But then shortly before my graduation, which was in October, I did get a job. And so I was so happy, which was law firm. So I got a job, excited, and I finished school. I got, I think, admin assistant or office assistant. That was fine. The pay was okay for someone that was starting. I think it was $15 per hour. So I couldn't complain much. Like I've gotten a job. Trust me, every parent wants to be happy that the child finished school, got a job. So I've made it. I'm good. I started the job. I even gave testimony in church because of how excited I was. Like God had answered this prayer. And then I think a week after my graduation, or maybe 2 days after my graduation, no, a week after my graduation, honestly, I think 2 days after my graduation, I came to work, everything was fine. I was still learning. Now, I had never worked before then, so I was still learning, trying to understand the law terms, what I needed to do. And so I came into work like just 2 days before, or 2 days after my graduation, or a week after, and my boss called me, and at the end of the day, he's like, he's letting me go. No explanation, nothing. What happened? I don't know. Like literally nothing. All he just told me that, oh, you're a very nice person, you're a very nice person, you're good to work with, but unfortunately I'll have to let you go. So it didn't make sense to me. Like, did I do something? Like before that, he never complained to me. Obviously, I think at some point he didn't like what I was doing, which was fair. I'm new to this law. I'm new to this law field. I didn't understand, and so I don't even know if there was an incident that happened that he was very upset that he didn't show me. He maybe felt like I wasn't living up to standard. Cut the long story short, he let me go. And so I didn't tell anybody. I didn't tell anybody. I didn't tell my parents. Nothing. I was so angry. I was so sad. Like I was so confused. Like this same job that I prayed for. It's like I went to give testimony. Like I came out of my comfort of my shell to come and testify of God's goodness. and now I don't have a job. So I didn't tell anybody, like only my really close friends knew, like nobody else knew. My parents didn't know, and I just went on a, I just went on this focused zone of like applying for jobs. Now, 2 weeks after, I actually got a job, but I meant to be happy, but I was not happy because where I got a job was I had I knew two people back then who were working there, and they had complained about this place. They didn't have anything nice to say about this place. So when I got that offer, I remember that day I broke down and I was in tears. The pay was not good. The um, co-workers, too many, like it wasn't a good working environment. I wouldn't lie, it wasn't easily accessible, and so I was just so upset. And then I I didn't have a choice. You get, like even if I wanted to have a choice, I have to remember, as I said earlier, I'm an immigrant, so I I just took the job. Like, oh, like, do I remember I lay down on the floor in my room? I'm like, God, I don't know why they laid me off, and then I now got this horrible job, and like I started at $15. Now my salary was going to drop, and so what I was going to make was going to be lesser, and I have to stress more to get to this place. Well, I trust you. Like this, everything here is not making sense, but I trust you. That was my prayer, and I started the job. As I imagined, it wasn't funny. Like the people that were working there was no inspiration. There was no inspiration. There was no nothing. I wasn't getting anything. It was a very repetitive job, And then the way it was, because it was like a logistics company, you have to, like, I don't know how to explain it, but I would have to, like, the boss will have to drop me like by the junction, like in the manager, and I have to walk for like another 10 minutes into where the office is. And now, if I and that was in Winnipeg. Now Winnipeg winter is very brutal, so you can imagine stopping by somewhere and having to walk another 10 to 15 minutes in winter. Nobody wants to experience that. Trust me, nobody wants to experience. And then at the end of the month, you are probably making like $1,600. Like literally, that is all you are making. You have rent, you have bills, you have things. I'm the firstborn, I'm trying to also start. My parents are like, okay, you have to start taking responsibility for yourself, and all I have is 1.6, and so it wasn't a conducive environment, and so the only thing that was keeping me going was the fact that, as I said, I knew two people that were working there, and we just built a connection at that time, and got to know them, just growing. We were just doing life, just trying to navigate where we were and discover what we wanted to be. And so I knew that, okay, this place wasn't for me, so I started looking for jobs. Like after I stayed there for a year, because you also want to, like, not just be jumping after every 6 months or things like that. So after I stayed there for a year, I started looking for jobs. I spent the whole summer like looking for jobs, but nothing really happened. And so that's when I made the big move that I was going to move to Vancouver. And all this while, like, to be honest, business was never the end goal for me. It was just more about, like, oh, I'll just get a big job, a big role, maybe I'm building my skills, I'll just get a big role, and then I would now be one of, like climb the ladder up in my company. Honestly, that was just my mindset. And so I moved to Vancouver. COVID now hit, and so I was home for like 9 months, just looking for jobs, surviving, because literally companies weren't hiring. They'll call you for interview, they'll respond back and tell you, oh, freeze, like they are going to do a hiring freeze, they're not going to take in people, they're having to reduce their budget, all of that. And so I remember that in 2020, the Valentine's period, I just got this really strong sense that I was going to just take out time and just pray, like have a retreat, like have a retreat and pray. Now it was also like fasting, so I did that, and I got the idea of, like, I like, so that's when I was like, I actually really do like fashion. Now I'm going to pause there. when I was working at the former company I was in before I left, one of the people there that I connected with was really into fashion, and I think that I feel like God took me there to connect with her to bring back that love of fashion that I had that I didn't even know was there. And so it made sense to me why I had to work in that place even though it wasn't conducive, so that me and her could like connect more, because at some point literally our desks were like just opposite each other, and so we would talk so much, share ideas on like fashion, what we wanted to do, and it was just that love just came back. And so fast forward now to when I had this retreat in February 2020, it was just like me coming to accept that, oh, I actually really like this fashion thing. Now what do I want to do? And so that's when I said start my blog. Now I thought, like, let's be honest, most people tell you, oh, you start business, you can't just monetize immediately, it takes years. So I was like, I'll just start my blog while I'm also looking for a job by the side and doing this. I don't know where to lead me, I don't know if anybody's going to read the blog. So I started that. I don't even have all the fancy things I know bloggers or influencers tend to do. Like, I don't have any of that. So I'm not going to start. So I started, and then I was like, why don't I do like a newsletter thing where every month I would send. So that was the idea that I just felt strongly in my spirit. Like the Holy Spirit had just laid on me, like I could start a newsletter every month. I could talk about things that I love, which was faith, fashion, and lifestyle. Like I love fashion. My faith is very important to me. Everything of my life revolves around my faith. Lifestyle, I like all these like nice lifestyle things. So let me just do it. So that's what I started doing. But I didn't think there was going to be anything to it. But I remember that when I started, I just felt like just start. As you go, you gain more like direction and clarity. So I'm like, okay. So that 2020, I scribbled down things. My journal is actually not here with me. Like it's somewhere, but I wish I could bring it down. Like I put how I wanted to do journals. I wanted to just scribble down so many ideas I had that February to March period. I would sit down like in my house. Then I would sit down on the dining table. I'll act like I'm working. I was writing out ideas of things I wanted to do, but I just didn't think too much about it. And so now, fast forward to July 2020, I finally got a job, and it was in like an apparel industry. So I'm like, okay, you know what? This is within like the fashion line. I can start from here. You never know where it will take me to within this fashion industry, since I'm now trying to focus on fashion. But it was a customer service job. Now, it was better than where I was before, but customer service is not for everybody. That job stressed me out because people can be difficult, and I've heard someone say it and it's true. Like when people are on the phone, they can say all sorts of things. So first month I know I was energetic. I'm learning how to talk to people, communicate. I was so happy, like okay, I'm sharpening my skills for the things that I do, and then now I can go up on ladder. But 3 months in, I started complaining. Like I can't do this. I can't be talking to people 8 to 5 or 8 to 4 for a living. Like I like this is not me. I'm not enjoying it. Like I'm not that person. Like I can't just sit down and just be talking to people. Like that's the least favorite thing for me to do. Like I love collaborative environments. I like when we sit down, round table, have meetings, share ideas, brainstorm. These are things that I enjoy. But in this place, even if I try to share ideas on how we can, improve the customer service experience, it wasn't heard. They had a fixed way of everything has to go to the manager. We are just meant to be told do this, do this. That was the end. So I really started struggling. So I remember one day, that was 3 months in, I remember one day I was going to work and I randomly met one lady on the road, and she just, I don't even know who said hi, but we started talking, and she was like, oh, she was going for a run, she's a businesswoman, she quit her job and she went full time into business. Obviously at the beginning it wasn't easy, but it's the best thing she's done for herself, like following what she loves and stepping into it. And that day, that conversation, honestly, that woman was God sent, because that just stirred something in me. And I got to I got to work, and I just I remember I wrote on a paper. I don't have paper anymore. I think I wrote like, there's more to me than this. There's more to me. Like I can do more than this. Now there's nothing wrong with customer service if that is what you enjoy, if that's what you do. Like, but for me at that moment, it just felt like there was more to me, and also it's because I've never been in that space where I've got to like explore my strengths and things that I like. Because even in school, I started with science, thinking that's what I wanted to do. If you follow, like, we have a podcast, my husband and I will try and link it so that you can listen to that and have more context of like my story. But like, it just felt like there was more to me after that day. And so I came back home, and I told my husband, I'm like, I don't think I can stay here. Like, I don't think I can stay here. So, but obviously, we have to be wise. We have bills, we have all of this. So it's like, okay, let's come up with a plan. When is a realistic time to leave? What can we do? But even with all of these things happening, I was still thinking about a job. Like, okay, I have to get a bigger job, but maybe it has to be in the fashion industry. Maybe I'll work with a fashion house, work. I was still thinking, it was never about like me going on to start something. And so the next year, I started the year applying for jobs. I spent the whole of January putting in an application, and nothing. And so by the end of January, I think one day I was so upset. Like, I've been doing this, I've revamped my resume, nothing. And it was a very emotional day for me. But then fast forward into February, I realized I was pregnant. And I'm like, okay, there's no, like, I'm going to be honest, who wants to hire someone that in the next 4 to 5 months will probably have to stop when next by the year they can't see me long term. I'll have to go for another year or another 18 months, I didn't want that. So I just had to sit down and face reality. And so I continued the job. Now, something I don't even like plus being pregnant. I thought about my life and I'm like, when I give birth, I really do not want to come back to be doing this. I don't think it will be fair on my child, having to go and do this kind of job and then I'll come back and I'm not myself, I'm not happy, I'm frustrated. And so I made up my mind and I was like, maybe I should actually take this whole blogging thing seriously and turn it into something else. And that's when I was like, what are the different things I can do? Now I don't have a degree in fashion designing, I can't really sew all of that. And so that's when styling came about. It was still a good bracket for me because I have 1 year maternity leave, so I can use that time to really get myself prepared, do all the things I needed to do. And so that's literally how I started. So it was never something that I had grown up knowing that I would get here. Like, every single time I was thinking a job, a company, but I got to the point where I just felt like looking for jobs was draining. They tell you have to have 5 years of experience, and I had limited experience, and so why don't I create a path for myself? And so I started taking like my blogging serious, started taking pictures, started trying to just grow my social awareness, like come out of my comfort zone. That was really my goal. And then I would say last year it really took a different turn, like putting pricing, putting all of these things, and now positioning myself like, I'm not just here blogging, I'm not just here trying to get free clothes. Like, this is actually a business and a business. And then I also now took the dream of having like journals and all of that and open like a separate part. They're all under the same thing, but now make that one into like, this is actually a proper business and this is what it does and this is what we offer. So that's I don't know if it's a long short summary of like what inspired me or how I got to this point, but that's my story. I know people have different stories. Like, some people are like, I've always known, I was waiting for the right time, I need to grow, I need to do this one, I need to grow, I need to make all the money or save, all of that. Some people have that story. I didn't have that. I don't have that story. I never honestly saw myself as someone who will be doing this, but I'm here now and I'm grateful. It comes with a lot of responsibilities, having to do everything, like literally everything. Your editor, your marketing person, your everything. But it's been fun because I'm now realizing how much I enjoy creative spaces, or like that flexibility to be able to plan, have meetings, brainstorm ideas, collaboration, things like that. Those are things I really enjoy, and so it's been nice. Outside of the admin and the budgeting and all of that, those spaces have been really really nice. So I hope, like, yeah, this is a little bit about my story and how I got here. I hope you pick one of the things that inspire you. But if you're in business, let me know how you started, and if it's something you're thinking about, let me know what your process has been like and how you are working towards getting to this place where you can actually do something for yourself. So yeah, I hope you enjoy. Give this video a like, share, and subscribe. I'm still getting used to that, but just do all the things that you should do on a YouTube channel. But thank you. Bye.